Okay, good morning, party. First time in my time outside of Belfast, so it's great to be down here in the Portadown Craigavon area, and it's great to see the room full as well. In early January 2007, there was an article written for the Belfast Telegraph, and it was published posthumously on the 9th of January 2007 under the headline, "Let's finish the job." And in that article, David Irvine wrote, "The next phase of the peace process is parliamentary democracy. The establishment of the Assembly is absolutely vital to finish the job. Other problems, such as health, education and the economy, are pressing." Well, it feels like Groundhog Day. Our parliamentary democracy has ground to a halt. And those pressing issues of education, jobs and health have been parked. Nobody is making decisions. All action has almost dried up. We're adrift and there's no wind. David, if he were here today, would be shaking his head. The past 12 months have been difficult. There's no denying it. We've reached a difficult impasse politically, economically, socially. Parity of esteem has become a bit like Lord Looking. Everybody knows what he looks like, but nobody has seen him. Everybody knows what parity of esteem should feel like, but very few loyalists feel it. And loyalism, much more, has been scapegoated. Loyalism is the problem. We're getting the old stereotypes again. Loyalists are a bunch of thugs and scumbags. They're the problem that won't go away. Let's remind ourselves of what the parties committed themselves to in the Good Friday Agreement. It was a commitment to parity of esteem, of just and equal treatment for the identity, ethos and aspirations of both communities. That's what everybody signed up to. And it's because that hasn't happened. It's because there's no parity of esteem. That's why the PUP has not just supported the protests, but has participated in them and, if necessary, has led them. The PUP has challenged Sinn Féin. They can't talk about a shared future and at the same time deny a whole section of the community the freedom to celebrate and express their culture. The two just don't match up. We can't cut Belfast up into green and orange areas with no road between the two of them. That is not a shared future, and that is not parity of esteem. The PUP has been absolutely right in that when it comes to cultural expression, that is absolutely integral to political identity. It goes right to the core of who we are. If you cannot celebrate your culture, then you're facing a denial that you have any place or role in this country. It's fundamental to the future that we allow one another to celebrate and express our cultures. That is why what the PUP has done over the past 12 months, despite getting enormous criticism in the media, has been absolutely right. It's to give a voice to loyalists who feel that they have been sidelined and suppressed. It's interesting that for some months, the other unionist parties have been like rabbits caught in the headlights. They've been sort of paralysed. They don't know which direction to go in. The media are right. There has been a lack of leadership. But leadership also involves not just challenging injustice and challenging inequality. It also means that if we are to lead, that we must be the architects of the solution. It's not just enough to protest. We have to take it further, and we have to begin to define and to create the solutions to the problems that we're in. We need not just be the guardians of our legacy. We also need to point people to the future. We need to create a vision of what this place could be like. We need to be creating a future that is just, peaceful, prosperous, and rewarding. That has to be the goal. That's the direction that we're going in. We need to be creating hope and confidence. We need to achieve what David Irvine talked about, a confident loyalism. That's what we want. One of the things that I admired about David Irvine was his ability to be self-critical. Now that's a characteristic rarely found in politicians. But if we are to be architects of the solution, we also have to be self-critical. It's what to be self-critical requires courage and honesty. It's an indication of strength, not of weakness. Now, it's easy to see where Republicans must change. I think we all, if I were to ask you to write down, what do Sinn Féin need to do to enable us to create a fair and just future? I think we could all write it down on half a side of A4, and we would probably agree on 90% of it. They need to change, they need to compromise, they need to concede ground. But what is much more challenging is to look at ourselves and see where we need to change. And again, that is a characteristic of a confident loyalism. In the PUP headed note paper, for many years we had a strapline that said, "Committed to an anti-sectarian, pluralist and equitable society." We're opposed to sectarianism. We're harangued by the media as being a bunch of sectarian thugs. But we're opposed to sectarianism. And where it exists, we do need to challenge it. It's unnecessary for our bands to play provocatively outside Catholic chapels. We don't need to do that. It's unnecessary to abuse Republican politicians. If you're abusing a politician, you've lost the argument. It's not necessary. Poverty is poverty, whether it's on the Shankle Road or the Falls Road. We're not opposed to Protestant poverty. We're opposed to poverty. We're not opposed to Protestant unemployment. We're opposed to unemployment. Unemployment is a curse. And wherever it is in our country or our city, we are working to get rid of it. Sectarianism isn't looking after yourself. Sorry, sectarianism is looking after yourself. And if we act only out of narrow self-interest, then morally we're bankrupt. Sectarianism is corrosive and damaging to our communities, and we don't need it. Whereas we're a party that's dedicated to an anti-sectarian, equitable, pluralist society. We need not to be consumed with negativity. Whenever you're on the end of a huge amount of media criticism, you can get very negative. You can become paranoid. You can overreact to criticism. We don't need to do that. It's okay to admit it when we get it wrong. If we get it wrong, we'll say we got it wrong. That's a sign of strength. Showing generosity to opponents. That is a way to disarm them. South Africa is where it is today, and Nelson Mandela is who he is today because of the generosity that he showed to his opponents. Look what it achieved. Huge gains for South Africa. We need to work at all times for the common good. That's what we're committed to. Now, it also involves not tolerating criminality. In 1975, on the 12th of July, in Longkesh, Gusty Spence in his speech said, "Gangsterism and corruption of whatever type must be resisted at all costs. Our aims must only be the well-being of the loyalist people and their defence. No organisation of the people can be allowed to become a tyranny or dictatorship, exploiting the people as the political hacks did before them." In Principles of Loyalism, Billy Mitchell wrote, "Real politics will also include developing and pursuing initiatives that will assist in the development of safe and secure communities and the development of rigorous opposition to organised crime, the illicit drugs trade, the vice trade, antisocial behaviour, racketeering and sectarian conflict. The cost of organised crime is something that the government and business community do not absorb by themselves. It is met by all of us. It is as damaging to the people of Northern Ireland as the violence of the bloody conflict from which we are emerging, and it deserves the same response." We care about our communities. You're here because you care about the communities you come from. If we care about them, we must actively oppose gangsterism. In the words of the Statement of Intent in 2007, we affirm our opposition to all criminality and instruct our volunteers to cooperate fully with the lawful authorities in all possible instances. Despite what Newton Emerson, Chris Ryder and other media hacks say, we will not give cover, excuse or justification for criminality from whatever quarter it comes. Instead, we are committed to working for the common good. In 2005, PUP did a party review, and as part of that it produced a report, and in the report it said, "We believe that change is necessary, inevitable and desirable. While recognising and taking pride in our historic heritage, we are committed to moving forward, facing contemporary realities and working to bring about change that will improve the quality of life for all citizens." That is still what this party is committed to. We are concerned about poverty, educational underachievement, youth suicide, youth unemployment, problems that need to be tackled in a serious and collaborative way. If you look at the programme for today, you'll see a number of those issues coming up. They are crucial issues. Culture is crucial. We have to have two arms to what we're doing. The second arm is dealing with unemployment, poverty, educational underachievement, health inequalities. Those are crucial for our people. That's why we're participating in the HAS talks. That's why we've published 2 papers in a series on dealing with the past. That's why we're looking at dealing with education and participating in the Unionist Forum Educational Achievement Working Group, which will be producing a report in the next couple of months. That's why we're dealing with trainers and employers in dealing with unemployment. There are huge issues in youth unemployment. Now, to deal with youth unemployment, no single party can deal with it. No single government agency can deal with it. It's a complex problem that requires complex solutions and collaborative working. And that's why, as a party, we are saying we need to take the initiative in dialogue and negotiation. We need to be proactive, reaching out and working with others to bring about solutions. That's what we're committed to. There is no alternative but to working with others to deal with these problems. Gusty Spence said, "Politics to us was the art of the possible. We could see no reason why we couldn't come to an accommodation. We ruled out mass extermination and mass evacuation. That left us, if you want, with mass accommodation." We are a party that is ready and prepared to work with others to bring about solutions. We have principles, we have values, we have priorities. We will stand up for those. We are developing policies, but we want to create a country where people feel safe, where loyalists can walk with their heads held high, into a future that we have shaped and we have contributed to, and that we can be proud of. And we will do it for the sake of our country, even if we pay a cost as a party. Thank you.